You're listening to The Angry Designer, where we cut through the industry bull to help frustrated graphic designers survive and thrive.
Okay. Anyway, you were saying about Apple?
I think the confusion there, a lot of brands, a lot of logos are chasing that kind of the stages that Apple has gone.
Ultimate, like that
It's like the
sophistication
ultimate
or simplicity?
Yes.
See, but it's funny. I do think that, and I mean, again, everybody always uses Apple as an example, so I don't want to just be yet another person just
Or Twitter.
You know, well, no, I still want to use Apple. Like it's become so iconic that there isn't a single thing that they can do now.
Yes. Yeah, they're done.
They're done. That's it.
That's it.
It has to be it. Them, Nike. Like these are so ingrained into people's heads that, you know, whether they're on the same scale of this whatever you want to see that we're seeing right now, this I don't know, diarrhea of ugly logos, of oversimplified crap. I mean
shitification.
The shitification of logos, dude. The shitification of logos. That's brilliant. So and I mean, Apple's screwed. They can't do anything with that.
Are they screwed? Because that's such a beautiful logo.
No. I mean,
why would you go anywhere?
They can't change.
No, they can't. But why would you?
Why would you want to at this point? It's because the brand and that logo have worked well. Do you know that was my daughter's first word? Apple, but not apple to eat.
Like,
Apple on the phone, because she would see me holding the
apple.
Too well. She would literally she saw the apple on the iPhone. Oh, right. And then as we would prepare a little game into Safari, and then she'd look at it and she'd point and she was like, Apple. And that was her first word. And it's pretty bad, man.
That's awesome.
Uncle Steve was doing more babysitting than I was, apparently. The shitification of logos.
Oh my God, that's funny. Okay.
Cheers, buddy.
Salute.
They
did leave.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Angry Designer podcast.
Yes.
It feels like it's a long time, but it hasn't really been.
Nope.
Right? We took a little bit of a break and we got caught up, and we had something exciting happen this weekend.
We did.
And without wanting to give you guys too much detail, a little teaser is we did our first interview.
Yes.
And we ain't saying with who. But let me tell you, it was over 2 hours long, so it's probably going to be a double-parter, right? And it was unlike anything I would have expected, to be honest. And that's the shocking part, because it didn't even end up being about purely design.
No.
It was more so just the life.
But this person was very, very informative as well.
Absolutely,
with this person's
right?
life. Yes.
Hero status.
Yes.
So we're not saying who it is, but stay tuned, because there's going to be some awesome stuff coming in the next 2 weeks. We're going to make sure that our first interview episode, which might end up being a two-parter, it's probably going to be around when we got most of everybody. So stay tuned.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So that's that.
Chilling.
Otherwise, yeah. So
here we go.
Yeah, the shitification of logos. I don't know if I like that or not, but you're right.
It's maybe shitification is an oversimplification.
Ooh. Oh, that's pretty bad. We haven't even started drinking yet. That's the odd thing. Cheers to this.
Yes.
And again, and for the record, we're drinking 18-year-old good old Canadian JP Weisers. Now, normally this wouldn't be anything special, but this is an 18-year-old bottle.
Yeah.
And it's won some awards, and it is so damn smooth that
like
on our interview process, I think I drank 2/3 by myself. It was
I think you did.
It was
I was feeling no pain when I left, that's for sure.
I got an email from the guy who we were interviewing. That's the only hint you're going to get is a guy. And he's like, he goes, I think I'm now going to take up drinking. I'll let you know how that goes. Shit, I hope I didn't make a fool of myself. But needless to say, you're right, though. It wasn't until you actually brought it to my attention. And I mean, we're in the tech space.
Yeah.
And you're right. Everything looks the fucking same.
Yes.
Okay, maybe I'm generalizing, and maybe it's really only half or 2/3, but you're right. Like, everybody's following this exact same look, feel, this, that.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying, actually.
It really is, isn't it?
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't notice it until you said it. I think because I was just too, I don't know, running with blinders.
Well, some things, I mean, Yeah, you could kind of see it going that way.
Yeah.
And when our major client changed their logo a lot, I was just kind of like,
Well, right, because they had something with a little
standard?
bit of flair.
yes, was
And
very
then-
unique.
Yeah.
And then a standard with here's the font that
Yep.
that it was.
Yep. Nothing else to it.
There wasn't any. I don't think
Regular
there was any,
font.
Yeah.
I don't even think they changed the kerning. I think it was
don't
us
think they
who
did.
were
It
like,
literally-
guys, tighten that shit up. And then they updated their logo mark a little bit. But yeah,
Yes,
for the most
which was
part.
nicer.
Yeah,
I would agree.
I
with
agree.
that. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like there wasn't
standard font.
And again, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing all these just fonts.
Yes.
And nothing else.
And nothing else.
Uber.
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like the list went on and on and on. Like,
Yeah.
not Spotify. Spotify actually has
Spotify,
simple fonts.
yeah.
And it kept going. And so I didn't notice until you said this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of disappointing. Pinterest.
Yeah.
Right? Was just Pinterest.
Pinterest had that cool P.
What happened
You
there?
know,
Right?
I
Now
don't
it's just
know.
Pinterest.
Yeah, now it's just a word.
And it is. It's actually getting pretty. And so that's where the topic for today, of course, we're talking about is like what happened.
Yeah.
Why is everybody oversimplifying their logos, making them boring, making
Yes.
them like why do they all look the same?
Yeah.
Right. And but obviously we know that when people change logos, it pisses off designers. It pisses off. Nobody can be happy because you make that emotional connection with the brand.
You do.
Right. So you've got to be really, really, really careful. So I think in part people get so pissed off at these logo changes is because literally they're not doing anything. They're not showing any love to the brand.
Yes.
They're not actually trying. It's just like, hey, let's just choose a font. I think I'm going to go Tahoma. No. Gilsons.
GT
No.
Walsham? Yeah, there we go.
Montserrat. Now that works. Okay. There's our new logo, guys. So it's just kind of like, and I think that there's a lot of anger because
Yes.
it's just like, you make these connections with these brands and all of a sudden it's like, this is what they deliver to you. They give you something that almost is a slap to it's a slap in the face.
It is. It literally
Yeah.
is. It is. But also, conversely, you can have a logo that you hate, and then all of a sudden they go back to their 70s version, like Burger King.
Burger
and then
King.
you're like, you applaud them. You're like, yay, good job.
Yep.
But really, they just they went all the way around back to the front again. So, like, how's that a victory?
They tricked us.
But still.
But it is true. I mean, again, in that case, that was success. But and that doesn't look like anything. But yeah, I mean, again, and so I guess this is what we're here to kind of chat about and see.
Yeah,
And,
this will be a good topic, and I'm sure people will light us up with with comments and things like
Yeah.
that, because we certainly have had a great discussion up to this
Up
point.
until this, and it keeps
And
going.
then now
and
we're
going
just
with
gonna
this,
put some
right?
microphones in front of us.
Just keep on going with this one. Well, I mean, again, I think you brought up an interesting point
Yes,
about it being marketing led.
interesting. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but what I've read, that
Yeah,
seems
yeah.
to be that seems to be one of the the evil snidely whiplash kind of guy who's tying the designer to the fucking railroad tracks, right?
yeah.
We don't need you. It's all about data nowadays.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I to me, I would say that it has something to do with it. I think personally.
So you're saying like it's just more so that the data is informing the decisions
Yes.
and just kind of like
It's-
less worry about. And I've read that.
Yes,
I've read
simple. You don't want to complicate things too much, right? This is we've got a small screen to look at.
It's kind of like focus on less on the creative elements of
Yes.
it and just more so
just
on just
get it
like
out.
get it out. Yeah. And I mean we do have a customer who's a really big fan of getting it out and getting large volumes of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But again, it's just like by doing that, I just kind of feel like they're totally taking away from. I mean, it used to be such a beautiful place.
Yeah.
When there used to be colors and this and then logos were, of all shapes and all sizes,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I mean, like we just saw some package design examples from before till now, like mid 90s, 2000s packaging versus now. And
Yeah.
I love simplicity.
Yes.
Right. However, there was a little bit of creativity there before.
There
which
was.
Right now, the simplicity that we're seeing
Yeah.
is lacking creativity.
Yes.
And I think that's the problem.
Yes, exactly. You're absolutely right. Yeah, because you're talking about the Cheetos. Can we use
Oh,
that?
that was really cool.
That
Yeah,
was, that was really good. I thought that was
a really. I mean, again, from what it was to what it was now, it was just like, wow,
It really was a marked difference. Like it looked just slapped together.
Yeah,
Whereas the
yeah,
first
yeah.
one was the whole package. Like somebody sat down and designed this. You know what I mean? And it worked all together really, really well, I think.
You know, I think this is what designers are going to struggle with so much is right now is that with everything going so computerized, so digital, you know, AI, it's scaring the shit out of everybody, that it's like people are confusing simplicity with creativity because it's so, in their opinion, easily accessible right now, right? They're thinking, oh, I can just jump on an app and just type in a font. Hey, look, Google gives me 1,000 fonts. One of these might be good enough for my logo. You know, hey, I'll go over here and grab like a mark of some sort, slap it together. Boom, right? Like there it is. It's like, everybody's become a designer right now. And I mean, that is one of the struggles that we always have. Right. And it's a constant battle. I think this is something that's always been the case. I don't think we're the only ones. I'm sure the Paul Rands of the fucking world have had to go through this, right? So it only makes sense. But the thing is, it's like, again, it's oversimplifying something isn't necessarily like, you know, they're killing the creativity out of it, right? And the thing is, there is so much good creativity in simplifying something. But, you know, it's not, what am I trying to say here, man? Holy, I'm confusing myself.
This is a deep topic, so.
Well, it is, right?
Bear with us.
Yeah. I mean, because again, if you oversimplify something to the point where it's just a font. Right? You lose that craftsmanship.
That's
behind the brand, behind, you know, and again, while we're big, you know, advocates of keeping logos simple and keeping, you know, messages minimal, you know, and then again, like vibing, right? I don't know. It's losing the soul. When people aren't kind of going that effort that they should be with these, right?
Exactly.
And that's what we're seeing. Like, you know, you go to Canva and Canva makes you think that you can fucking create a logo on there, or you go in these logo generator programs, they make you think you can, right? And so all these people, so now we're seeing all these lifeless, soulless logos run by, coincidentally enough, lifeless, soulless organizations, right? So maybe it actually matches. You know, we're going to, you know, the end of the world's going to come, the world's going to open up, and all these shitty brands are going to fall in the fucking hole. And all we're going to have left are just the good brands out there, the ones that care about people.
What do they call that? The creative rapture.
The creative rapture. It's so true. Hey, it'll make for a much nicer world thereafter.
I can't wait.
Suck them all up. But you know, it's true because I think that's it. Like a lot of these logos don't feel like they have any sort of love.
You're right, but exactly what you said before. The craftsmanship. Craftsmanship is what's missing. From that.
Because it's not to say a simple logo is boring, because it's not.
It's not. No.
Well-designed simple logo is iconic and it'll last forever. Right? So don't give me this shit that, you know, oh, if it's simple, it's boring. I have to do something, then add drop shadows and gradients. We
don't want to go back to the 90s.
Let's not go back to this. And you know, the problem is, I'm seeing this everywhere. Okay. And I am seeing this. Well, again, it's not just logos. And word marks. But think about it. Like stock photography or stock, like everybody looks the same. There's the same support person with a fucking headset, whether she's black, white, you know, Asian, like it's always the same thing. Give me a little bit. Or the like the stock clip art. Dude, like that Memphis fucking clip art people that you see everywhere. They're all
what's that?
You know, they have like no face, it's just a head.
Is that what that's called?
And then but I mean, it's like, it's corporate Memphis. Like that shit was crazy in like the 90s and 80s and 90s. Now it's just like, I don't ever want to see that shit. Okay. But they're every single, you look up, you know, like, you know, clip art for this or illustration of Office is the same people over. And you see them on so many websites. Dude, I hate seeing those.
I know.
I hate seeing those. But then, you know, sadly, architecture is going that way, right? And while I love simple architecture, I love mid-century, you know, architecture, and when people nowadays are replicating that and making it beautiful, right? Great. But you're also seeing people building these like lean-tos in the middle of a forest, snapping a picture of it, and they're saying, "Oh, it's simple, it's beautiful." And it's like, dude, that's like proportions are off. You got everything wrong there. Like it's. But you know, city utilities, music, everything is almost getting dumbed down to a point where it's like there is no more soul to these things. There's no more. It's almost because people think the tools are so accessible,
Yeah.
right? They're creating this shit out there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, me and Jamie used to have this argument about music all the time.
Oh, really?
About music, because again, he's like, oh, he could never understand digital or electronic music, because he's like, all you got to do is just push a button and it does it. He's more classical. Now, granted, a good DJ, there's a lot to that, right?
Yes.
It's not as easy as people might think.
This is true. This is true.
But at the same time, he's not wrong. I mean, if you're with the right, synthesizer, you push a button and you got the whole song made for you at once.
That's exactly true. Creativity has a lot of different paths, but there's a lot of things that, like the Chemical Brothers or something like that. They come up with all these crazy samples and sounds that are all together, but make it a song.
Yes.
And makes you tap your foot. Right? This is it. What it does is gets you moving in the end. Then it's done its job, right?
Then it's done its job.
Whether it's a kid in his basement playing guitar, or whether it's some guy behind a whole
you're right. You know what?
Keyboards.
Because again, you get like bands like Chemical Brothers last forever.
Yes.
Their music, again, some of my favorite songs to date are still old Chemical Brothers songs, 20 plus years old.
Yes.
But you got a lot of other electronic artists that just come and go, and go. So again, equivalent of soulless versus like a pure artist, the craftsman, the person who's actually owns that trade. So it is. There is something to be said here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's funny because my wife and I did a trip to Detroit a couple of years ago, and we're touring the skyline and stuff like that. And they have these beautiful old buildings like the Empire State Building, but only smaller. Like that Art Deco kind of really nice style. Yeah,
huge.
And then there are other parts of the city where it's just a block. And they literally called that brutalism.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. It's a legitimate time. I know. It's true.
Like, if that's the style and it's called brutalism, how is this good for design?
You know what? I hate to say it, for our good old CN Tower is a classic example of brutalism.
Yeah,
right?
Of brutalism.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty brutal.
So logos are heading into the brutalism phase, I suppose.
Shitification, brutalism. I'm loving all of this.
And the funny thing is, too, and a lot of this stuff that we've seen, what happened to serifs? They've gone.
I know. Well, it's so weird, right? Because it's like in some places they're kind of trendy.
Are they?
Well, because people use them as like headline fonts and flourishes and stuff. But you're right.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Not even close.
And you're right. Right now, this oversimplification of all logos. Mind you, I don't know too many classic logos that have serifs. I mean, there are a few.
True.
Obviously, and it seems to be the high fashion ones.
Yes.
But I mean, the high fashion industry jumped on this stupid
did they
thing.
Ever.
Holy cheese. Wow. Like, I mean, again, there was like, 6, 7, 8 high fashion brands that now look identical. Pretty much. They all use a similar font.
Yep.
I think they're all uppercase.
Yeah.
They all have the city or the country named underneath.
Yep. Yes.
And it's like, I can't tell the difference of any of these. And some of them were big brands who did this.
Like Burberry had that
I know.
that cool image at the top of their logo.
That's heartbreaking, dude.
Yes,
Heartbreaking for sure.
Yeah. Now it
Yeah.
looks just like a Casper logo. Like you can't tell the difference.
Yeah, you're right, eh? Sorry, is that a $3,000 bag or a $3,000 mattress? I can't figure it out. You know what they have in common though?
What's that?
You're getting fucked for both. One way or another.
That's right. One of them are fucking you. You're either. That's great.
So, I mean, is this trend following? Right? Because I mean, and again, the reason why I hate trend following, but we did find that one little article or the one little snippet that showed an early Coca-Cola logo.
Yes.
An early Pepsi logo.
Yep.
And an early Ford logo, and they all looked identical.
Yeah, it's almost like the same artist,
right? It's like it's a 3-for-1 special. Yes. But it's true.
Yeah.
In the sense that they all three of those looked exactly the same. More like they looked like they had the same artist, same style, whatever. So if maybe that was a late 18th, 19th century, trend or something.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, now Ford kept theirs. They cleaned it up, and I mean, they never changed their logo.
Nope.
Right? They kept it going the same. Coca-Cola obviously kept theirs.
Yep.
And kept the flow and just refined it, and has literally, again, 100 years later stood the test of time. Pepsi, on the other hand, since they created theirs, they've changed 11 times. 11 times.
Really?
And the funny thing is, Pepsi originally started out red as well.
No.
Red. So it was a red logo that looked like the Coca-Cola logo,
my
and
God.
they looked so similar. Like for the first 40 years,
Yeah.
they all had the swoosh together. Like
Jeez.
that's a little bit tricky, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess what happened is 1950 they introduced blue. Right? And then they did the swirly Pepsi in the bottle cap style with the blue on top.
yes.
So that's where the blue came in. So I'm guessing they started falling behind with
Yeah.
Coke, and they thought, okay, well, we need to pivot. We need to adjust the brand. But then it kept on changing and changing and changing. So it was 1950, they introduced the blue and red.
Right.
And then 62, they got rid of the red, and then it's basically the Pepsi that we knew. Or sorry, they got rid of the swoosh. That's what it was.
Right.
And then they came in with just a very blocky font. So really, Pepsi really made a big stance, 60s.
Yeah.
But again, there was an example of they followed, and then, when they tried separating, they were just struggling the whole time with that brand, right?
Whereas Coke just head to the grindstone.
Well, I mean,
nose
Coke
to the
just did
grindstone.
what they did right?
And they kept the logo, and then the rest is history.
So this is one of those cases where it's like, if a brand sees that trends are going in a certain direction, or customers like something a certain way, I guess brands will quickly try to adopt this shit, some of them, and I think that's what happened in this case.
Yeah.
Maybe we're seeing that right now, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of like, they want to be looked, brands are always trying to find that edge. So they always want to, have that edge over their competitors.
Yeah.
So they want to be the first one to like put that flag,
Yes.
on the ground and be like, we're there. We made that change.
Here we are.
Right?
We're the first ones to do this.
Yes. Because a brand wants to be progressive, and for them to be progressive, they should be the first one there. Right. Risky, ballsy, but of course, they want to be at that razor's edge of, consumers' preference, right? But what they don't want to be seen as the copycat or the second place.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, if you're the last guy in changing your logo to look like everybody else,
Yes.
ooh, you're going to be made fun of.
So something happened there with Coke and Pepsi.
Right.
I'm guessing that's what's happening with a lot of these other companies that we're seeing right now, right? They're driven by this need to differentiate each other, from one another. And it doesn't have to necessarily differentiate from all brands across the spectrum, across all industries. They just need to differentiate within their own industry, and so then generally you should only see 2 or 3 similar looking logos within a huge industry, unless it's fashion or tech, because high fashion now, like I said, that list is like 7, so I don't understand.
Crazy.
And tech is the same way. Like they're all so big and boring right now, right?
Yes. Do you think maybe it's because there's so many new tech companies too that there's a similarity between this?
Well, I mean, sure, but then they're all just jumping aboard the same bullshit
they really
trend,
are.
I think, right?
They've not done anything to separate them from the wheat from the chaff.
No, not at all, right? Not at all. And that's the disappointing part of all
It really
this.
is. Like you'd think in this kind of creative space, there would be a little bit more.
So I
diversity.
we thought this through, and I got a couple of reasons here. So obviously, number one reason why I think, and I don't think anybody can argue this one, of course, is that the reason why all these companies are switching over to this, super simple whatever, is because everything's gone digital.
Digital. That's
okay.
right. Yeah.
So we've moved to a digital environment, and again, this like mystery of where have all the serifs gone, right? Like, and again, because I still find serif, fonts, serif body copy easier to read, even on a screen. Personally,
Totally. Yeah.
Like I like seeing a screen that has a slight tinted background instead of stark white, and then a serif font on it. It feels easier to read for some reason.
Yes.
That's the whole intent of serifs.
Yeah.
Was to make it more legible, more easier. So when people are telling me that it's no, it's digital, it's easier to read on digital, I question that one. But again, trying to make these, they're claiming that the digital scape has made it much easier to read non-serif fonts on logos, this, that, which
it's blocky, it's bigger, it's easier. Yeah.
Again, I don't know how much I believe in that, especially because while this may have been the case 20, 30 years ago when screens were, a lot less high quality, they weren't as dense, right? Right now, I mean, you've got OLED phone screens, dude. Okay. That
There's
is
no
like,
excuse there.
that's like more crisp than a fucking printer. Okay, than like a magazine. So you can't give me that excuse. Okay, so whether it's an old excuse or an old habit, digital, of course, is one of the reasons. Okay, I got this theory called cognitive fluency. You like this, right?
Yeah.
So this is something called the fluency effect, right? Which basically says that something is processed faster, easier, smoother than another by the mind. It gives more value to it. So all of a sudden, if you're seeing this specific font being used within this great company and this great company, and you've got good vibes based on those companies, if I see this third company using that same, that same font, that same look, that same feel, I'm going to give it that, that initial trust immediately, without even knowing for sure.
Because it reminds you of the first.
It's like even deeper than I would even realize it, right?
Yeah.
So, it's like people won't follow something that has bad connotation to it. Okay. Like you think about in history, some of the more aggressive fonts or some of the more, shitty visuals or imagery, that bring back memories. You would never follow that if it follows these days, right? If your logo, you had a pinwheel and it kind of looked like a Nazi symbol, I guarantee you,
you're not doing well.
You're not going to do very well, right? Like, so, and this is, if poor brains, poor feelings, you don't see people going down that road. So I'm thinking that this fluency effect is probably a reason why people are jumping on these and maybe jumping on it unknowingly, right? But they're like, hey, it worked for them, it works for us. So that's something that I'm kind of believing on.
To me, like when you look at all those fashion, like those new fashion logos, that's what that smacks of. It's just like somebody led there, and then everybody else went.
Well, and keep in mind, even prior to this whole new trend, right? Gucci and Chanel, very similar with the crossing of the right. So even though Gucci is like the two letters kind of facing inward, and it was at Chanel, I guess is they're crossed, right? But it has that same. I think it's Chanel has that same vibe. Right? Everybody knows it, recognizes it. So it's like immediately you're like you don't even remember was it Gucci or was it Chanel? But they're both really high quality. Right. Exactly. So again, it worked there. Of course, readability and accessibility. You're hearing this everywhere, right? Oh, it's easier to read and this and that. So, of course, you're going to want to follow.
Back to your statement earlier about the serifs being easy to read.
So you can't really give me this argument, okay? But, okay, so those are the obvious ones.
Yes.
The ones that I think are a little bit more my opinion.
Okay. I like these.
Okay.
Saddle up, kids.
All right. The dumbification of the masses. And I love that. I actually read that in a tweet and I was just like, that's fucking brilliant, right? And basically what this is saying that, our radically reduced attention spans requires everything to be stripped down to almost like a formulaic pattern, okay? Where it's so stupid, so simple, right? There's and this goes everything from songs to rhythms and beats, architecture to brand logos, right? Which is a shame. But what I guess it's allowing people to consume more, right? More consumable stuff in minimal time with minimal effort.
Right.
And that's what sucks. But I mean, it's like a proven formula. And it's a joke, right? And like I always joke around the Lego song, right? Like in the Lego movie too, right? They knew that if they were able to put this catchy beat with these words and this energy, it would fuck you up. Right?
Totally.
This song's gonna get stuck inside you. This song's gonna get stuck inside you. And I'm telling you, you're screwed. You can't have, and it's like they knew it. They knew it was going to happen because it was like a formula. So that's almost publicly saying you're all being a bunch of sheep, and it's so easy to figure you guys out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It was even you know who else did this song? Remember that song? It was like it started at a beat. Oh my god, what was it?
Don't say Baby Shark.
No, not Baby Shark. That one was a mistake. That was a tragedy. It's okay. I know it in my head, but I can't. It was. Forget. Anyway,
damn.
Okay, so dumbification of the masses.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one of my opinions. Okay,
the people, people that it's the targets.
Absolutely,
not the people creating.
Yes, absolutely. And last, pure fucking laziness.
Here we go.
Seriously,
that's the one.
Like I was
waiting for that.
This is ultimately what this is all about, and this is what's pissing me off. Again, so going to the non-fucking designers, okay? You go on something like Canva, you go fucking on Google, you download a font. and you put your name in it, that doesn't make it your word mark, your logo. You took a fucking font, and half the time they don't even adjust kerning, spacing.
I know.
They don't
Just
do
let it
anything. That's it, right? That's fucking laziness, right?
Yep.
And again, we take that, slap a stupid icon on it that they also found online. So fucking drives me nuts. So pure laziness there.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that Uber font is better than their old icon. Their old icon was classy, recognizable.
Totally.
You see that shit in the corner of a car, and when it was coming, I'd recognize
I
it.
know that. Yeah.
Now it looks like ass.
Yeah, it
There's an Uber. Like your car doesn't
why?
even look classy anymore. Right? And again, you can't tell me that designers, they put a lot of effort in, because that's bullshit, right?
No.
Some of the best fucking logos ever.
Here we go.
Ever.
Here we go.
Have been so simple, without serifs, for the record. Okay,
Yes.
there's still,
Without
but I
serif,
mean,
yeah.
okay, some of the most famous word marks.
Yeah.
Okay, that haven't fucking changed forever. Exxon, FedEx. Okay, fucking FedEx.
Here we go.
Coca-Cola, Sharp.
Yep.
Braun, Vans. Okay, Vans.
Yes.
Simply fucking
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
Okay, these are word marks, and again, they took a font and then they made it their own.
Yes.
Okay, so again, they didn't go lazy. They weren't fucking lazy when they put that shit together. They put and they're like, now what? Okay, now what can we do? Okay, with this, or then letter marks.
Yeah.
Okay, same thing, right? They downloaded a font, and Paul Rand, took a font. IBM, and then he's like, okay, what else am I going to do with it? I could just leave it like this blocky font.
It's fine. Yeah, it's good like that.
But let's put let's do our magic. He added that whole the stacked lines across it, right? Boom.
Yes, there's the
It's
creativity.
Theirs.
Yes.
It's 100% theirs. Nobody
That's
can
right.
take it away. RCA, the same thing, right? NASA. Okay. Love it or hate it, that's a fucking iconic
brilliant.
logo.
Yeah,
and
totally.
it's a font. It's never been changed.
Nope.
It's old. It's recognizable.
It's very simple.
And now it's more beautiful than ever.
Totally.
Right?
Yes.
EA Sports.
Yeah.
Looks like it's maybe a little dated, but it doesn't have to change because it embodies everything that the brand stands for, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's just an E and A, and they own the angle. They got the energy.
Yes.
Boom, right?
Yes, exactly.
CNN. Okay.
Perfect.
Clean, simple, or
Yep.
Canadian, CN Rail.
CN Rail. Perfect.
Beautiful, right?
Ooh, love that
and
one.
again, right? And then even like HBO, like even by putting that little dot inside the O.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, they took these fonts. So don't tell me that, Google and Spotify and Pinterest and all these companies who've just gone to a simple font, they're like, that's creative. That's not fucking creative. You didn't do anything to that font. You didn't own that shit. It's pure fucking laziness,
Yes,
man. Pure
exactly.
laziness.
And we can't talk price, right?
Yeah.
Because
No,
we
it's
all know
nothing to do with that.
What was the Nike logo was $35.
Nothing,
paid
right?
out, right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
this is the kind of stuff that we're talking about. It's like some guy was arguing online saying, well, all the shapes are taken.
Well, that's bullshit. Hey, you know why that's bullshit? And if it is, you reuse it. Airbnb literally ripped off somebody else's shape from 40 years ago and called it their own.
Yes,
so
exactly.
you can't pull me. No, you can't do that shit.
That's bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some brands have done very well. I mean, Twitter
Yeah.
is really nice.
Yeah.
I hate Twitter.
Yeah.
But I love that.
But just because somebody wants to, okay, laziness. And I think half of it is,
you're right.
So much of that is laziness,
You're
right?
right.
But then again, if somebody's like, oh no, there's something, creative about just using a font, it could be simple, right? No.
Yeah.
If you're going to use something simple, then make sure the brand or the marketing behind that simple matches.
Yes.
So I want to bring light to, I don't know if anybody knows this, but one of Canada's most popular brands is the No Name brand.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So
Yes.
it's literally No Name
Yeah.
is what it's called.
Right.
The brand consists of a black Helvetica font and a yellow background.
Yes.
And that's fucking
That's
it. There's
it.
nothing else, okay? Great products
Yeah.
without paying great dollars is,
Yes.
is their whole tagline, right? And again, Helvetica font, black background, that's it. If you look at their packaging,
Yeah.
it's so fucking simple.
Yeah.
If you're buying marbled cheese, it says marbled cheese. Okay? If you're buying
Black
peanut
beans.
butter, peanut butter. Black font, yellow
Yes.
background. It's always the same white space.
Right.
It's the attention to detail, right? Like, cheese. Or better yet, beer. Like, that's it. Beer. Okay? If you go to their fucking website, okay, you have to do this. Go right now. Okay, no, after this podcast,
After the podcast.
go to www.noname.ca.
Yeah.
And you know what it says when you get on their landing page? Website. That's what it says.
Are you serious?
Website.
That is awesome.
Because that's what they do. And, and then again, they had a marketing campaign, and it's like, in the subway, it would just say Subway. But because they took something
Smart.
simple then,
Yes.
and they just said, you know what? Okay, intentionally, we're going to make it simple. But there's nothing simple about our branding, our marketing, everything we've done thereafter.
That's right.
Right?
It's simple, but it's still clever.
Oh my God, it's beyond
Right?
clever,
Yes.
right? They
This is the
took
key.
that next, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Like they own that
Yes.
shit. Where again, I feel a lot of these companies aren't.
No,
they're
you're
like
right.
they're taking the easy way out, and I'm really pissed off about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's very sad, and we all know that a lot of these companies, they have the moolah.
Oh shit!
To and the
because they're
time.
often billion-dollar companies.
Exactly. And it's like, I don't know whether there's a time constraint on these designers, these poor people that are rolling out this new logo or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no excuse for this.
There is no excuse.
Yeah.
And again, because
there's no excuse for laziness.
No, there's no excuse for laziness.
Exactly.
And ultimately, I think that's because
right.
they're stopping right there.
Yes.
Right.
It's just like, oh, this is easy enough. Exactly like you said with Paul Red. Like,
yes,
he's got the font there. Everything's right there. But what else can I do?
What else can I do? How can I own this? HBO. How else can I own this? Right? Making the zero and putting the dot in there. Now it looks like a camera, right? Like it's just all these little touches that make even the FedEx. Okay. You know what? They played with it. They typed it out. They played with the kerning. They're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Look at that negative space, right?
Through this, and do you think that was done in the very first round?
No, right?
Yeah, no.
Jeez.
There's a lot of time and effort
that
went into that. And this is what designers, I think you're absolutely right. You got to put in the work.
I think so.
You've got to do something different.
Yeah, right. And I think, no, how's this going to stop? I don't know. Like because I don't see this slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. They're like trends are,
And we hate trends for logos.
We do.
Always advise against that shit.
Is this a trend? Is it? Or
Well,
is this
again, I don't even think it's a trend because, again, I think it's just pure, again, personally, laziness, stupidity, lack of creative ambition. Right? Because again, everything, I think we're going through a shitty lull right now in our space. And everybody's just, because everybody thinks they're a fucking designer right now, but yet so few people actually can design.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's a designer,
this is
so
true.
few design.
So few can really actually talk the talk and
Absolutely,
walk the walk.
right?
Yeah.
And think things through and everything. So it's I think we're gonna have a really rough patch of ugliness ahead of us. We're entering, like you said, our logo brutalism stage.
Yeah, you're right.
Really, because people might think they're fun, they're clever,
It's
that.
easy.
It's stupid.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So again, advice on how to rise against this bullshit. Okay. Couple simple points.
Nice.
Okay, plain and simple. So first and foremost, of course, follow our design principles.
Yeah.
First most, right? And again, for those of you who don't remember, keep that story simple, keep the creative minimal, make sure you're creating something iconic, make sure it's relevant to your people, and make sure it's timeless. Don't follow fucking trends. Okay. You want more detail on this? We literally just did a podcast on exactly this topic. Okay. Good quality. There might be other ones out there. Go if you want to embrace some of your own as well, but follow those and then of course make it scalable. Right? Because ultimately it has to be scalable as well, especially these days. So then it's digital. You got that covered, okay?
See the Walt Disney logo for a good
example of being like a flexible logo, right?
Yes, exactly.
So number one, right? Number two, you gotta own that shit. Okay. And I can't stress it. Literally, this goes back to the laziness bullshit. Don't just settle on a font and an icon.
Yeah.
Right. Don't just stop there. Right. Own that font, stretch it, pull it, play with the spaces, play with, shades, colors, sizes, right? See, manipulate what you've got there and see how you can elevate that word mark into something else, right? And again, that's when magic happens, right? You start comparing, all these shapes and this and that to the actual brand itself. Beautiful marriage there, right? If you can get that word mark, like literally integrated with that, with the logo, like with the logo mark itself, where the two parts kind of work together as one, it's a beautiful thing, right? And then it allows you to simplify it, stretch it apart, and own it together. Oh, it's great, right?
Yep.
Put number three, okay? put it next to its competitors in the same size and scale. So what I mean is once you create a concept or 2 or 3, right? Put down on a page the competitors. Keep it all black and white to start. Right. Put them all in the same size box. Okay. Usually what we do like a square. Right? We do like a perfect square, and then we stretch out the logos to fit the square, either width or height, and see how yours in that, the same size space can compete against all these. Is it easy to recognize? Is it, does it just blend in with the rest of them? Because if it does, you have to do something different. You've got to make it your own. You need it to stand out. And last but not least, don't be fucking lazy. Seriously. Don't accept your first idea. Don't download a font. Don't download a font and just go to it. Don't, go to your classics and be like, yeah, that's good. I'm happy with that. No, like fucking push through that shit. Push through those times. Push past that. Right? It's like, when you start exercising and you start getting all those pains. No, you got to push through those to keep going. That's right. Don't stop, because again, that's when the magic happens, right? Make a connection, do something to make it yours. And then this way, I guarantee you might put a font together, change the kerning, put a logo, and be like, yeah, that's really good.
That works.
That's good.
Done.
But then if you push harder and you're like, hey, give me those vertical lines like Paul Rand did, right? Exactly. Give me that extra dot inside this letter, right? And give me an icon. You'll create something, honestly, you'll be proud of. It'll blow your mind.
Exactly.
It doesn't look like shit you'll find on 99 fucking designs, right? Because now you own that. And now nobody can be like, oh, you copied ours, you copied this, you copied that. Make it your own.
You made it your own. Exactly.
So use those tips and rise above this brutalism logo thing that we're living through right now.
We don't want to see we don't want to see any more of these logos that look the same. This is not good. There's so much online that we found researching this. Like everybody's noticing this. Like this is not good.
Oh, it's a brutal
this
thing.
Should not be a
non-designers are noticing. That's the worst part.
Yes, exactly.
It's one thing if designers, because we're picky fucks. But when non-designers and the rest of the populace, like, they're like, yo, what's going on?
What's happening here?
Why is this?
Why is my mattress look like my fucking handbag? What the hell?
It's so true.
I know, right?
But it's true, dude. It's true. It's you know what? We need to bring a little bit of the craftsmanship back to this. We need to own this.
Thank you. That's exactly.
And again, I don't recommend following trends. Absolutely not. But we're not saying follow trends here. We're saying create something that's your own. Put your heart into it. And then again, sell that forward, because whoever gets that can own that shit. Right. And then that's an iconic logo that somebody can be proud of. You can be proud. The company can be proud. Get rid of this logo brutalism shit.
Exactly. And what do you say? You always say when you're creating a logo, you go back to the 50s style, like the old classic, like the old stuff. Like
I always start in mid-century. Right?
Mid-century.
Yeah, exactly. I really like those. Because again, it was just such a nice balance of shape and form and weight.
We would agree on that being the Renaissance time of logos, right?
I think so, dude.
This was like we looked at the turn of the century, whatever the Coca-Cola, the Pepsi-Cola.
That was really hand-drawn stuff, but it's funny. But you know what's funny? The mid-century shit that I'm talking about was still hand-drawn.
It's still hand-drawn,
right? But it was so precise. The spacing.
There's a protractor involved. There's you know what I mean? Like there's tools in
where I don't know, something happened somewhere late 80s, 90s, 2000s. People took advantage of technology, and again, everybody became a fucking designer.
Yes, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's a old school pen to paper, pencil to paper kind of style. Maybe we're too reliant on
just
on our technology.
Well, definitely, because might I remind you, before the computers, guess what?
What?
Everybody fucking had a pencil. They had paper. They had markers. They could have done it back then.
Totally.
Right? But again, they're like, oh, no. I'm not creative. I'm not a designer. But just because you're a fucking computer now and the tools are a little better, a little smarter, you all of a sudden are? Fuck you. Fuck. I hate that. Oh, I know, right? I struggled with this a lot in my life. Totally. And even within my own family, I've had many people who are like, you design logos, right? I just bought one for my kid, a logo design program. Now they can do what you do. It's a logo design program for a Windows fucking computer. Oh, shit. And this goes 20 years ago.
Stop. Oh, no.
And I hated it that I had to hear, now they can do what you do. Thanks for the support.
Oh God, we don't get any respect. We're like the Rodney Dangerfield of careers.
Oh, dude!
Wow, that was heavy.
Well, I think that was enough. That's enough to rant about that one. That's for sure.
That makes you angry, doesn't it?
Oh shit! Does it make me angry? Needless to say, we've given you the advice. We brought the problem. Help fight the fight, guys.
Fight the fight.
Okay, and don't be a fucking lazy designer.
Don't be lazy. We hate that the worst. Ugh. That's the worst thing ever. It's just like, you know,
don't call yourself a designer if all you're doing is typing out some font and finding a logo to go on, an icon, a mark to go on top of that. Don't give me that.
Exactly.
Oh, brutal.
All
right. With that being said, if you like what you heard, please go give us a high five. Give us a great review on your favorite podcast. We really need we need that to become number one in places like Myanmar, Finland, Portugal. We were up the other day, number 2 in Portugal.
Number 2 in Portugal.
That's pretty big. Luis is pretty happy about that one.
Yes.
Yep.
Fucking right.
So needless to say, please by all means say something nice or not, but whatever. Yeah. If you have people you hate, then sick us on them. Throw our podcast to them. Let them know how much you hate them by making them listen to us, because chances are, if you hate them, then they're going to hate us. Yes, okay? Because you love us. And we love you guys. Right. I can't stress that enough. Seriously. And hit us up on Instagram, because honestly, it's the conversations we have are great. The comments are great. We're giving advance notices on stuff, and that's probably where we're going to be dropping a little bit hints on who it is that we're going to be having our first big interview episode.
Ooh, it's so exciting. We want to tell you guys so bad.
It was so good. It was so good. Needless to say, maybe we'll keep
awesome.
teasing this one. So stay tuned for that one.
Yes. I can't wait.
All right.
All right,
buddy. I think that's it.
Good job, man. That was awesome.
My name is Massimo.
And my name is Sean.
Stay creative.
And stay angry.